Welcome. We are back. It is Monday Football Roundtable because David's work keeps messing with them. So we go from Mondays to Wednesdays to Tuesdays. We'll never be Thursdays or Fridays, but that's okay. So championship weekend just happened. Good weekend of football. Well, it depends on which teams you were a fan of. But quite honestly, I thought the first half of the first game was very good. And the whole game of the second game was very good also. So obviously we know that Philadelphia put a royal beat down on Washington. That's where we're going to start off tonight. Dave and I were talking before the show. And my opinion, I think it's everyone's opinion here because there's no brainer, but the special teams killed Washington. They just, I don't know what it is. You know, these players who maybe don't see the field as often as the regular, the offense and defense. They cost so much. 21 points off turnovers, and there's no way you're ever going to come back from that. Philadelphia Eagles kicked ass. Real quick before I throw it over to David for any of his insights. Michael Paoli, Hot Pockets, at the beginning of the year, he said Philadelphia was going to win the Super Bowl. We have a bet about that. But anyway, he also said that his prediction, because we did when we were going through preseason before the season began, he was picking wins and losses, and he said Philadelphia was going to be 13-4. And actually, Philadelphia was 14-3. So Paoli kind of hit things right on the head between the Super Bowl appearance and the way the schedule played out and the win-losses. So Paoli, you did a good job. Even after a disastrous week 6 in your picks, you came back to show us what was going on. So anyway, David, what was your thoughts on the Philadelphia-Washington game?
Well, yeah, obviously I agree with your special teams assessment, but my thoughts are, who the hell is going to stop Saquon Barkley? He's just a machine. He is just an absolute machine. There is not a thing that guy can't do. If you give him a yard, or if you give him space between the tackles on the outside, he's gone. He is just a man among boys. Truly a man among boys. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, this guy can take a handoff from anywhere on the field and score a touchdown. No question asked, no argument. He's proven it all year long. And looking at Kansas City and their defense and the way they are and that offensive line, honestly, I don't know how they're going to stop him. And it was nice to see A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts connecting for some balls after all the turmoil all season long. Dallas Goedert's going to be a force in that game. I mean, Dallas Goedert was a force in the game against Washington. He was his go-to guy, but it's just that offense goes through Saquon. As Saquon goes, so goes that offense. But I thought it was a great game. Score got out of hand, obviously. I did make one point that if I'm not mistaken, I haven't gone through every single championship game since 1990, but I believe the last team that scored over 50 points in a championship game ended up losing the Super Bowl, because that would have been Buffalo when they beat the Raiders 51-3. But I could be wrong. I haven't gone through every championship game to know what each score was for those years. But I was just making a funny observation to a friend of mine. But we'll see. But they just look unstoppable. I loved it.
Oh, let's see if they can hold it up. KD, my bald-headed brother, what's going on? You got that sheen. You put on that dome wax today?
No, it just come like this natural. That's what happens when you're black.
Yeah, okay, so we're gonna go there right away.
I'm sorry.
So KD, I'm gonna just segue to this game for a little bit. To you could change whatever you want, but I'm just gonna bring up the movie The Replacements and Keanu Reeves. And what do you fear? People like spiders, quicksand. That to me seemed like what happened to the Washington this week. And oh yeah, they were Washington in the replacement. Okay,
they were.
KD, what your thoughts?
Look, man, I wanted another guy on this panel that's normally on this panel to be on here, because he was trying to prematurely say, "Oh, Jaden Daniels is this, Jaden Daniels is that," and I said, "Look, man, y'all gotta pump the brakes, because things are different in the playoffs." And I'm not taking anything away from the kid. The kid is great. I knew the kid was great. I followed him most of his career. But you have to be a special team, and you have to be firing on all cylinders when it comes down to going into the playoffs and making a deep run. They got away with not having a complimentary run game for the longest. And again, some of those guys were trying to do the best they could. The thing about it is you also going against a division opponent. This is not a team that you can kind of sneak up on. This is not that. Had it been the Arizona Cardinals and they snuck up on them and they won the NFC, I would have said, "Oh, hats off to those guys." But this is a team that knows you structurally in and out. So when it comes down to it, it was one of those things. It's like, hey, okay, you don't have a run game going. It's only so long before we're going to have to make a mistake. And I'm not talking about turnovers or anything like that. Hey, if you don't get these first down, that psychologically eats at you as a rookie, right? If you don't drive the ball down there on the 16-play drive and score a touchdown every time, that eats at you. And then slowly but surely, Philly was getting their legs underneath them defensively. Once they got their legs underneath them defensively, it was over. And I'll say it again, like I said it before. I don't think there's a more dominant 3-tech in the NFL than what Philly has.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. You have to really show me somebody that's better at the 3-tech than Jalen. Because I'm sorry, he is just he's a force. He's a force. And the crazy part about it is he still hadn't hit his full stride just yet. He's just going off sheer athleticism. He's not even using his smarts to say, okay, look, this is what they're going to try to do to me, and I'll basically be able to fight them off and still influence the play. So it's going to get kind of scary, especially because looking ahead, at least we haven't talked about the Super Bowl yet, so I'll wait. But I liked everything about it, their game plan and whatnot. They just didn't have enough bullets in the gun. It was. I hate the term of playing with house money, but it was one of those things like, hey, okay, look, man, you guys are just outmatched. There's nothing you can do. These guys are firing on all cylinders at the right time, and it is what it is.
Well, and like you said, KD, I think, again, as a rookie, being there your rookie season, and you were playing at such a high caliber going into the game over the last couple weeks. And I think the one thing that happens to a young quarterback is, even though he might not look it, when you don't score a touchdown and the other team does, and the expectation becomes heightened as a young quarterback or even any quarterback. But because he's young and it's his first time there, I think you see him start to press and try to make things happen as opposed to letting the game come to him. He's trying to force things. And, against a defense as talented as Philadelphia, I don't think that you can do that. I think you have to, take what they give you. If they stop you, leave it to your defense to get that stop and get the ball back. And unfortunately, like I said, Philadelphia offensively just couldn't be stopped. And obviously the turnovers didn't help. You give Philadelphia a short field, but that first drive to come away with only 3 points after a 16-play drive, 7 minutes, and then you turn around and one play you're down by 4 points. It's demoralizing, even though it's the first quarter and you still have over half the first quarter left. That one play changes the complexion of the game because now you realize I have to be perfect. I can't make a mistake. And that's what cost them.
Yeah, I mean, also, not to take anything away from Philly's defense, but losing their best offensive lineman and Samuel Cosme, that hurt a lot too.
Sure.
It was like, hey, okay, look, I'm not going to make every play a TFL or a sack, but I'm going to be in your backfield, speeding up your quarterback's process. So I think with Carter in the backfield the whole time, it was one of those things that was just like, look, I'm good.
Yeah, our buddy Mike went to the Kansas City game, so life sucked.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Well, as far as the Eagles and Detroit goes, I think Detroit put up a hell of a run this season. Never expected them to get anywhere near what they did. Philadelphia, after last year's collapse, it was a big question mark. Looking at it, when you look at the Saquon Barkley free agency thing, the trade, I'm so happy for Saquon because he's been so good for a long time. He was so injured, but look at him now that he has an offensive line where he's not getting hit by these 300-pound linemen. He's getting hit by a linebacker, which is not good, but it's still 50 pounds less. And DBs don't want to try to tackle, and they can't. It's a lot like Larry Fitzgerald with the Cardinals. I wanted Larry to get a Super Bowl trophy. Like, trade him away. Let him have a chance. And Arizona didn't do that. Giants did. Obviously, one of the most colossally stupid decisions ever to pay Danny Dimes and to cut him before the year was over. To, instead of keeping Saquon. But, people get demoralized over time. And for the Giants saying, I'm not going to sleep well at night if he goes to Philly, and he did. Brings me to my next subject.
Well, I think that's like the second worst colossal mistake that the Giants made. I think their first colossal mistake was after all that played out, and you retained your general manager and coach. That is the biggest colossal mistake, that both those men still have jobs. After you allowed in other years what might have been the most valuable player in the league walk to a division rival, and you put all your money into a quarterback who is below average at best, but happened to cash in at the right time. And you didn't even make a valiant effort to retain the best running back in football, and you have a job still. That's the biggest colossal blunder. But again, yes, the Saquon debacle was definitely huge.
There was a worse one out there. I'm Xavier Worthy. The Bills trade the pick, and to Kansas City, your arch rival. You want to do everything you can to take weapons away from them. Why? Like the Patriots, it didn't matter what the hell happened. The Patriots would never trade with the Jets because they're not going to do a damn thing to help the Jets. What the?
Keep
it PG.
In some ways, I understand it because, look, we all know Xavier Worthy's fast, okay? But Xavier Worthy didn't have no stellar rookie season. Yeah, he came through. He got a touchdown in the championship game. But if you look at him overall, okay, I wouldn't say that Xavier Worthy had a successful rookie campaign. He had spots. He had spots, but there's probably 5 rookie wide receivers that had better years than him. And I'm not saying Keon Coleman's one of them. But I can tell you Brian Thomas. I can tell you Malik Neighbors. From a statistical purpose, Marvin Harrison Jr., even though he played on Arizona and his stats were like kept under because of Arizona. But I mean, he quietly had a decent year. But Xavier Worthy didn't have a decent statistical year. They used him when they used him, and he's a fast guy. But I think the problem is when you looked at what the two teams were looking at, Buffalo didn't have as high of a grade and didn't want to pay the money for a first-round pick. So they got out of the first round and got a second-round pick. Was that an old-fashioned? But
it's a black Russian.
Oh, God.
Wow. No.
It's apple cider.
Right.
but not black Russian. But no, like I said, I look at that as, and to me, I don't care who you trade with. I get it. Kansas City's your rival, and you might not want to give them weapons. But Buffalo was looking for a different type of wide receiver. They weren't looking for the guy. I mean, they have a guy who can get yak and Khalil Shakir. They weren't looking for a short wide receiver. They wanted somebody who would be good in the red zone, somebody who could go up and get jump balls because they didn't have any of that. They didn't have any one of those receivers the year before. Every one of their receivers was small. Stephon Diggs, small. Khalil Shakir, small. Any receiver we had on our roster last year was small. So they wanted to have that guy that could go up and high point the ball for Josh Allen to be able to throw 50-50 balls. Did it work out as much this year? No, he had some good catches. He made a couple touchdowns, had a nice touchdown over Tariq Woolen in the Seattle game. Brad ripped it from him with one hand, made a couple nice plays, but again, not as impactful, okay? But, like I said, Buffalo got draft capital. They wanted more draft capital, which they moved around and traded and ended up getting an extra second-round pick this year because of it. So, I mean, all things being equal, I don't mind the trade necessarily.
KD, do you want to chime in on this at all?
I was going to talk about the Saquon debacle. I don't care about the Kansas City Buffalo trades because there's another trade that's even more monumental than that one, or allowing of a certain trade or whatever. It is what it is. At the end of the day, draft picks are draft picks. We don't know what guys are going to be. There's no certain guy is going to be exactly this or whatever it may be. There have been number one picks that flopped. There have been picks 255 that went on to go win the Super Bowl. It is what it is. But for the Saquon thing, here's what's more alarming to me. You controlled that. You controlled every aspect of that. Instead, you did the exact opposite of what you should have done because you remember a while, I think it was 9 months ago, 10 months ago, they were talking about the running back position was irrelevant. It was dead. It was meaningless. It was, hey, okay, you can get some younger guys to do this and all that good stuff. It was all this craziness, right? But if you look at the teams that have the more long success have a premier running back.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to ask.
Yep.
Like, is that a coincidence? Is it because I've been saying it the whole time. We are undervaluing running backs because you quote unquote think you don't need them. When you build a lead, when you get a turnover, whatever it may be, no team is prepared to allow you to run 17 plays and punch it in the end zone after you've got a turnover or two on them. No team wants that. And then, oh yeah, by the way, I get up 21 points. You thinking that, hey, guess what? I'm just trying to cruise out here to win. No, I'm going to put in my second running back. I'm going to let him get some carries too. Nobody is prepared for that. Now, I will tell you, it's hard to do to get that running game to give you that type of lead. But if you have that in your arsenal, now we're talking, I'm not even about conserving or preserving the lead. I can add to it because you don't get the ball for 8 minutes.
Yep.
There's no passing game that's going to give you 8 minutes of passes to get down the field. It's just not. There's not a lot of offenses out there that can do that. Dink and dunk you for 8 minutes straight and not have a mistake. So I see on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, Kayvon Thibodeau is getting into it with people calling out the Giants organization for this. Look, bro, I got it. You're a Giants fan. You're trying to do your loyal thing. I mean, you're a Giants player. You're trying to do your loyal thing. Does not matter. Your organization was trash in their situation and how they dealt with it.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing. Let's look at the teams that made the playoffs this year.
Mm-hmm.
You got Kansas City. They had a run game. You had Pittsburgh. That's pretty much all they had. Baltimore had a run game. Denver had one, but really it was Bo Nix. So I'm going to count that as a not have. The Rams.
It was a committee run game.
Yeah, and the Rams were running the ball.
Yeah. Yep. Karen Williams.
Washington ran the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo did so much. That's why I thought Buffalo could actually make the Super Bowl this year because Dalvin Cook, man, I mean, the guy's awesome.
Yeah.
And then Green Bay had Jacoby.
Jacobs.
Yeah. Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Another great running team.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia, needless to say. And Detroit had that two-headed monster, Sonic and Knuckles. So these are the 8 teams who got to the playoffs. And except for, one of them, Denver's kind of like, but they all had a run game.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we are devaluing running backs because they get hurt. But, I mean, you're a 200-pound guy running 12 miles to 17 miles an hour into a 350-pound blob. I mean, and then all these bodies fall upon you. It's kind of ridiculous.
Here's the thing. A good running team will make your offensive line look better, will make your quarterback look better. Because when a defense has to play you honestly in a play action game, your quarterback will have more time. Your offensive line will have better opportunities to get into their anchor blocks and give the quarterback time. And then a good running back will allow that offensive line to get in front, make the blocks, find his lane, and go. And so it all goes hand in hand. I don't remember the last time a pure passing quarterback just won the Super Bowl outright. I mean, even Tom Brady in his Super Bowl victories, he had running games. He had running backs. I mean, they might not have been household names and 2,000-yard running backs, but he had Corey Dillon, he had LeGarrette Blount, he had, he had different guys who took the pressure off him and allowed him to excel in those moments. Kurt Warner, guy came in from grocery, and Marshall Faulk, one of the best running backs in football. And Marshall Faulk, even though they were the greatest show on turf, you still had to have that running game. And you still had to have that outlet back. So all those guys that took their team to the pinnacle had a running game. No matter how much.
Russell Wilson. Oh, no, that when he passed, that's right. It got intercepted by him.
Well, he had a running game. He just decided to throw it to a defensive back. But that's
No,
his
yes. That was all Pete. Go ahead, Katie.
I still don't know why he didn't say as a quarterback, hell no, we're not doing that.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you check to a run?
If you're gonna chew me out on the sideline after I make this play, that so be it. I'm not at least once or twice before I call that pass, because as good of a play Butler made, it's still not fundamentally sound to get on the 2-yard line with a back like Marshawn Lynch and not give it to him.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a timeout in your pocket. I know it's 42 seconds.
Yes.
And we can't relive this.
And the worst
for 6 years ago.
And the worst part about that whole play call is why would you make that type of throw into that area of the football field in congestion? If you're going to throw the ball, if you're going to play action Marshawn Lynch, everybody thinks it's going to go. Why aren't you throwing it out to the pylon, as opposed to a slant in where there's 8 other defenders all around this one guy? I mean, the entire
done it all year and was successful 100% of the time. Bill Belichick knew what was going on. Even in practice, Malcolm Butler couldn't get there.
Yeah.
But in the Super Bowl, he did. Anyway, this is a very irrelevant conversation. Let's move on to our next subject here, which we're going to talk a lot about. But first of all, I got to just pull this up. And, hey, Paoli, you listening? Here we go, baby. Okay, so Jeff and Eric, I didn't get picks from, but it didn't matter because they were. David was 0-2. Katie, you were 1-1. I was 2-0, and Hot Pockets was 1-1. The best Hot Pockets can do after saying in the last week of the season, I'm going to pick everyone you pick. You can only tie me. And we all know I am going for Kansas City in the Super Bowl, and you are going for Philadelphia because the thong. But again, I have yet crushed you all in the pick'ems. So next year, can I do the three-peat? Can I pull the Kansas City? I think I can.
Well, not if you take Kansas City. You're not gonna pull it. You're gonna be tied.
Oh boy, I could just tie, but I still got more than any of you.
That's okay.
No, it's not okay, David.
Hey, hold up.
It's not okay, David.
We not. I'm not a Steeler fan. I don't celebrate fucking ties.
I know. What the hell? You're turning into Eric.
We gotta put a point spread or something.
Sean wants the From the Couch Participation Award. Holy crap.
You guys can't even beat a fan. We're trying to educate the fans.
I don't care.
Well, you know what? Maybe we educated them so much.
I don't care. I'll take my losses, man. You're celebrating a tie.
No, that's only if Kansas City doesn't win. Right now, I'm winning. So the worst I could do is I'm either winning the whole thing or
pick Kansas City, and it's going to be a tie. But anyway, we'll get to Kansas City next week. We'll get to that game next week.
But you know what? Everybody, except for me, picked the Buffalo to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Whoa. Paley, cool your jets. We'll have a drink off. Sir, you are dealing with an alcoholic. There is no.
I just want to see you have to wear your thong on the show. I don't care.
No, I'm not doing it on the show. No. It's going to be my Facebook profile picture for 24 hours.
That is just him. That is just him owning that. That is not me. I would never ever sit here and watch you put a thong on and do a show. That guy, not me.
No, trust me, it's not going to happen. Not live on the air. This is a family show.
Well, if you're making that Facebook profile picture of you in the thong, yeah, that's going to be on the show. It's going to be right up there in that thing.
Well, if you want to look at my ass that badly, David,
I'm gonna put it as the logo for our show. You know how I do the FTC thing underneath our thing we share. I'm gonna do a
Says
profile.
the guy that barely can log on his own computer.
I'll figure it out, man.
Yeah, with our luck, an update will come out, and it'll take you a week and a half to get back on.
I'll call Bill Gates, see what he's doing, see if he can help me out.
You Dell motherfucker. So anyway, with that being said, I didn't want to, because not that a lot of people follow my profile, and I never post, so that would be like a thing. Anyway, Paoli and I have had this bet for several years. Paoli has lost twice. I have lost once. It is a last year when what the hell? When he lost, I edited and gave him Kim K booty. He did. So anyway, these is something that we do, and and everyone in my house knows it. So everyone in my house is now going for Kansas City, which
bet they are.
Makes me dirty and feel dirty inside. Anyway, so the Bills Kansas City game, I'm going to go to KD first. Let him talk about it. Then we'll go to you, David. I will be back in 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Go ahead, KD.
I don't know if y'all was paying attention to the chat, but it was almost instantly when I said the tight ends are going to have to put their stamp on the game if you guys are going to win it. And I'm talking about like probably 8 minutes after that, the Dalton Kincaid thing happened. And I'm just like, no, absolutely no. Because I paid attention. They had Bolton basically spying Josh Allen. So I knew it. I was like, all right, he's probably their best coverage guy because I know they're not going to put Chenal out there to run around and cover tight ends. So I was like, hey, you know what? If they're going to do this, they got to find a way to get Kincaid or Knox the ball. They got to. Because I think that's what their matchup advantage is. And as soon as that play happened, I was just like, golly. I'm just, you know what? Whatever. It is what it is. And then I seen the replay of it. It was worse than Mark Andrews. It was worse because I'm sitting there like, brother, we make those plays in backyard football all the time. Just run around, get busy, get moving around, just throw it up. Somebody slides and run into a garbage can or a curb and make that play time and time again. And we ride off into the sunset, scraped up, and we enjoy it for years and years to come. Hey, man, you remember that time Dave caught that Hail Mary, man? And we live with those for 10, 12 years, probably 20 years. To see that play drop, it was just like, damn. Because it was shades of the Ravens game, but just a little bit more oomph on it because it was like, hey, we didn't get into the end zone. We trying to get down there to get at least a field goal. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, man, don't get conservative. Don't go down there and thinking the field goal. Go for the gusto. That's what I'm thinking. Because I've seen this too many times again. You guys get conservative, and then you don't even get those points. So think of touchdown right now. And again, like I said again in the chat, Allen could have looked again before he snapped the ball and seen that, hey, when they ran the jet motion, nobody went with him because there was a guy already over there. So I knew, hey, I had 3-on-2 on my left side. So if I wanted to hot route it, hey, give me a screen pass over there to the 3-on-2 side and live with my guy getting the 5 yards, I would have been okay with that. I would have been okay. Or just like what Paoli just put in there, or Hot Pocket just put in there, it was a perfectly timed blitz. But you throw the ball right where the blitz just happened. And if you paid attention, Josh tried to extend the play instead of saying, hey, look, let me just go ahead and have my receiver curl up. But I don't think the receiver understood, hey, okay, we only need 5 yards. Let me curl up right here on the little spot route and let them dump it to me and then corral the ball and live to fight another day. That would have been perfectly fine. So game plan was great for what I seen outside looking in. I know Bill fans want something different from Sean McDermott. He wanted a game plan to change. I thought it's perfectly fine. I thought you got a little bit careless in not running James Cook more because I'm sorry, Allen didn't have to be Superman. Nope. The game plan was perfect for what you guys needed it to be. I needed him to be Superman. I need him to be Superman in the dime moments. Throughout the game, hey, man, take whatever they're going to give you. Take whatever they're going to give you because then they're thinking, hey, Josh is going to be conservative all night. Then if I get
waiting moments,
right. If I get within a possession or even get up on you, now I need him to go out and get me what I need him to get me. But overall, good game plan. Not taking anything away from them. Especially the Bills losing who they lost defensive wise, and they still was able to go out and hold their own. So I know there's no such thing as more victories, but I didn't have an issue with either the plan on either side of the ball.
Yeah, I'm not. First of all, I will not ever blame referees for anything. It is what it is. I haven't all year, and I'm not going to now. There was one questionable call that I will definitely address. And to me, and it's not even the first down call. It's not the first down call. It is that interception ruled completion.
Yeah, that was a little fucked up.
Because here's my problem with that entire thing. Either the defender had the ball and the ball hit the ground and it was incomplete, or it was incomplete. Because the fact it was, when he went up, Cole Bishop had his hands on the ball. Ball came down. The ball hit the ground. Xavier Worthy did not possess that ball until after the ball hit the ground. If they ruled that he caught it, the ball hit the ground. He did not have possession of the ball when the ball hit the ground. So technically, it should have been an incomplete pass, and Kansas City should have had a first down because of the defensive holding at the 22-yard line or whatever. And that's fine. But other than that, I'm not going to fault the officials on the first down or the fourth and half a yard that they didn't give Josh Allen. Those kind of plays can go either way. Buffalo couldn't convert a 2-point conversion doing the same damn thing on the field, so I don't know why you're not giving the ball and pitching it out wide to James Cook, because he was making 7 yards a pop on the outside all night anyway. So why do you continue to do something that you're not having success with because Kansas City's playing it right? To me, that comes to coaching. My issue I have is this, and I said this to Sean before. I was having a conversation with my cousin, and I was talking about Sean McDermott having to go. The issue I have with Sean McDermott is this, and this is why he has to go. He might be a good coach. Could be a good defensive coordinator. But my cousin told me that, Buffalo had two of their greatest head coaches were Marv Levy, who went to 4 Super Bowls, and Sean McDermott. Well, here's the problem. Those two coaches were not the greatest coaches that the Bills ever had. They were the two coaches that were fortunate enough to have two of the greatest quarterbacks that ever played for Buffalo under their tenure. You can be great leaders of men. You can give great, passionate speeches. You can build a culture. You can do anything you want in a locker room. Marv Levy was fantastic as a speaker. Marv Levy could rally the troops. Marv Levy was a terrible coach because he couldn't get that team to win a Super Bowl. Sean McDermott's the same way. You get the culture. You get the people believing in you. You are the worst situational coach in football. The object of the NFL is to win a Super Bowl, not get to the playoffs, advance to the championship game, the divisional round. Your job is to get to a Super Bowl. And I don't care what all the draft or all the NFL pundits said at the beginning of the year, that this was going to be a rebuilding year for Buffalo and that, oh my God, they made it, they won it. I knew exactly what Buffalo was. And as long as they have 17, they have a chance. The problem is you have a coach whose defense underachieves year after year. He plays the same defense year after year. They draft undersized defensive linemen. They play two linebackers. Okay, when you saw that Patrick Mahomes was running 20 yards down the field, you get your third linebacker on the field and you watch Patrick Mahomes and you stop that. You knock that crap off. Patrick Mahomes is the one who's beating you with his legs, not Isaiah Pacheco, not Kareem Hunt. Patrick Mahomes was beating you, and you allowed it to happen because you didn't adjust your defense. And that's your defense. I don't care if they say Bobby Babich is the defensive coordinator. That is Sean McDermott's defense, and it's got to go. It hasn't worked in the 8 years or 7 years he's made the playoffs. And so the only way I keep Sean McDermott as my head coach is if he agrees to give up defensive play calling altogether and they hire an autonomous defensive coordinator who goes in there, gets the players that he needs, and is allowed to call the defense that needs to get it done. Because with this coach, with these players, this team should have at least advanced to a Super Bowl. And it is because of Sean McDermott's incompetence and situational coaching that this team continuously falls out of the playoffs. I'm not blaming refs. I'm not blaming calls. I'm not blaming any of that. It's the coaching staff. It's Sean McDermott's fault, period.
Okay, two quick things about that statement. And then we're going to move on because we're boring our fans with the Buffalo Bills, as usual. But Marv Levy, it was a different time in the NFL. The NFC was 100% dominating at that time. Like, no AFC team was even coming close. Like, if you look from 85 to 98, I don't think there was any AFC teams that won the Super Bowl. And I don't know why that is, but that's just the way the cards fell. And Sean McDermott did not do anything yesterday that caused his team to lose. I do want Buffalo Bills fans to take a look at that last drive, because the cameras focused a lot on number 17, Josh Allen, which I would love to be my quarterback. Josh Allen is awesome. But take a look at that last drive, because they are focusing in on him, and you can see his eyes. He lost it.
Sure. He lost it because, again, his defense for the seventh time in a row didn't show up.
You were down by 3. You had 2 minutes left in the ball.
The Buffalo Bills in the 4 losses against Kansas City. Now, wait. Kansas City is a team this year who has only scored 30 points in a game twice. Once against Carolina, and I forget the other game. Your defense gets out-coached every single year, and Andy Reid is great offensive mind, great offensive coach, taking nothing away from Andy Reid. But that's the difference between a great coach and an almost coach. And you say Sean McDermott did nothing wrong. Your leading rusher for Kansas City was Patrick Mahomes. He had 2 touchdown runs. I think he had 60-some yards rushing. Okay, when your quarterback is the leading rusher on your team, who's not a leading rusher ever on your stats, and your defense does nothing to adjust to stop that, 3 linebackers on the field to account for him, because you're giving up monster chunks because they follow Xavier Worthy, the speed guy, on the one side of the field, and you leave 35 yards of wide open field on the other, and you're not making the adjustment. That's not on Josh Allen being dejected. That's not on, Mac Hollins hauling in a one-handed touchdown 35-yard catch. That's on your coach, understanding we're not going to let Patrick Mahomes beat you, and you allow that to happen.
Okay, let's. Can we come back to planet Earth here? Katie, I'm going to ask you a question. Was it not 32-29 with 2 minutes left and Buffalo had the ball?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So that's not on the defense. It's not on the defense at all. You got 2 minutes. You need a field goal just to tie.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, thank God it did come down to it, because if it went wide right, dude, I'd be beating the hell out of you right now anyway. But if that wasn't on the defense, that was on Josh Allen.
No, it wasn't, because the throw was right there. That was on Dalton Kincaid. It went right off his hands. He was blitzed, and he threw it right to the tight end. The tight end dropped it. That ball was right in Kincaid's hands. Did you see it? Go back and watch the play. The ball bounced right off his arm. It was right in his hands.
KD, please bring some.
The fact that Dalton Kincaid overran the ball and had to slide backwards. Okay, and again, it's kind of like what I said to KD about Mark Andrews. Yeah, I'll give Josh Allen 10% of the blame on that, because he was blitzed. But the fact that he was able to avoid it and even get that ball off 30 yards down the field, and it bounced right off of the forearms of his tight end, that was not Josh Allen. That was Dalton Kincaid.
All right, I'm going to silence David and let KD speak. KD.
Go ahead.
So the only blame is, just like I said, the only blame I'm giving Allen is not realizing where your strength is offensive in the formation. It's the only blame I'm giving him. I'm not going to give him any blame for trying to make a play. I can't do that. Here's the reason why, because that's what you want your quarterback to do. Had he not thrown that ball and just took a sack, or threw it away, what would we be saying? Oh, he didn't even try. He didn't even do this, right? So I want my quarterback. I want my quarterback to empty all his bullets, right? However, if the ball is thrown to you, I've never seen a player catch a ball coming back to it, trying to put their forearms first before putting their hands on it. I've never seen it. Only time I'm having a guy catch with his arm fully extended and hitting his forearm, the ball is dropping into his hands, and he has his body in front of his hands. That's the only time I would be okay. Not out to the side. Out to the side, it needs to be your hands first. Your hands got to touch that ball first. Because if your hands touch it, now you can corral it. You can pull it into you. Forearms hit it. You don't know where it's going to bounce. Nope. Now, if you want to say, hey, okay, McDermott, I'm going to give you some of this by calling the quarterback sneak or draw or whatever you want to call it on the 4th and 1. Okay, he can take some of that. Why not? Because at the end of the day, right? Yeah, you want predictability, but you also want the things that's going to work too. Because I'm sorry, outside of McDuffie, I don't think anybody can run down James Cook in the open field.
Oh. They ran that play. They missed two two-point conversions running the same damn play, and they couldn't. They ran the tush push twice to get a first down on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 the drive before. The fact that you continue to do that play, you are not the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, I'm sorry. There's one team that does that and does it well. The fact is, it hadn't worked. If you're going to line up like that, then have the pitch out. Have them think you're going to do that and pitch it out. Like he said, James Cook around the corner, nobody is going to catch him. He's gone. But that is my point. It is the lack of coaching awareness, and Sean McDermott doesn't call the offense. That's on Joe Brady. I understand that. My argument about the Kansas City and the scoring is they've given up in their 4 losses 34 points a game to Kansas City. Okay, this team this year has scored over 30 points twice in a game. All right, last week against who did they play? Who did they play the week before?
Who? Kansas City?
Oh, they played the Chargers.
Texans.
They played the Texans and they scored 22 points. And they scored over 30 against Buffalo. Okay. That is your defensive coordinator. That is your head coach's defensive system. And you allow this team to do that. Every time you're in the playoffs, you allow that team those points. And you haven't been able to adjust in 4 playoff tries. Something has to give. You either relinquish your defense and say, I'm going to hire Rex Ryan as my defensive coordinator. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm going to hire a Rex Ryan as my defensive coordinator. He has total autonomy to call the defense. He can bring in the guys he needs. He can play his defense. I'm not going to say nothing. Okay. I'm going to be the head coach. That's what I'm going to be. Unfortunately, that will never happen. And Buffalo will continue to do this year after year after year. Just like Mike Tomlin, year after year after year.
All right, real quick. And I'll let you guys have your say because I got to quick stop for a minute after this. But anyway, did you not listen to the announcers during the game? I mean, Tony fucking Romo.
I don't listen to the announcers during the game.
Okay. Well, Tony Romo was saying every time the Buffalo Bills sneak, Josh Allen goes to the left between the guard and tackle. And he said it 3 times during that broadcast.
Right.
Now, if Tony Romo knows what the hell's going on,
yeah,
do you not think that the Kansas City Chiefs know where the fuck that was going?
Sure. I get it. That's my point. You did not do anything different. And it wasn't working. So why do you continue to keep doing it?
But Josh doesn't, like, this is where we're going to run it all the time. Josh can say, hey, I'm more comfortable running here. Let's try here. So just the same thing every time. And Josh looked like he was a wildebeest surrounded by a pride of lions that last drive. And I'm sorry. KD, you go first, then David. I will be right back.
So remember how, I don't know if you remember in the chat, but I told the old Steeler fan that's in our group, I told him, when you're running certain plays, you got to be able to protect it, right? And what I mean by protect it is make it look like it's something when it's really not. So, for instance, that left lead play into the A, in between the A and the B gap, perfectly fine. Set it up that way. However, I'm gonna have him pull it an option off of it, or I'm gonna have him hand it off in the jet going away from it. So I run into the A and B gap. You guys collapse into it. The guy comes around the end. It's okay. Or if I get real creative, right, I can do that same motion, but now when the guy loops around and gets the ball, I can make a little pop halfback pass. It's so many different plays you could have drawn up off of that. However, in the middle of the game, doing that without repping it in practice, I don't recommend.
Right.
If you have done that and you say, okay, look, all right, just in case they take heed to what we've been doing, running our left guard play behind the left guard. Okay, all right, man, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you that same action. However, I got 2 layers coming off of it. I have my tackle blocked down. I have my receiver take the first guy that's out and wash him in or whatever, or decoy, run him off the ball. Now James Cooks comes around. There's nobody out there, probably that linebacker or either the safety. The safety coming down. Safety comes down too hard. I got a over route coming from the opposite side. Because guess what? My sixth lineman is in the game already anyway. Six lineman is in the game already. Why not say, hey, okay, six lineman, this is what we're going to do for you. You're already eligible. You're the only one going downfield. Oh, wait a minute. They got an ineligible man downfield. No, we don't. He declared. We're good.
Yep, exactly. Well, and the thing that really, and again, goes back to the coaching staff. You saw last week that Baltimore caught on. Josh Allen did the same thing and got stuffed, and he almost tried to pitch it to him. So when you see that happen in the game, and you realize that when you have the opportunity to run that play, and if a team catches on and can stop it, why don't you have a play in there to play, like Katie says, off of it? This coaching staff is a good coaching staff, but it's not elite. And this is my issue. Sean McDermott, for as good as he is, he was a defensive coordinator who had a quarterback similar to Josh Allen, if not equal, in Cam Newton. And what happened? Cam Newton went into the Super Bowl against Denver, and Denver outcoached Sean Payton's defense, or Sean McDermott's defense. Because Sean McDermott plays a certain way, and a good coach can overcome his defense. You had a great quarterback. You had a scrambling quarterback. You had a guy who can make plays with his legs and throw the ball on a dime and do all those wonderful things. But Sean McDermott, with that Carolina defense, lost to Denver in that Super Bowl. And he had the same type of quarterback, but he continues to play the same type of defense. And until he wants to decide to change, this team is going to be stuck right where it is. You're muted. You're muted, Sean. Unmute.
Sorry. No, I was on another screen because,
Oh, were you?
Carolina didn't play New Orleans in a Super Bowl.
No, Denver. They played Denver, and they in 2015 or 2016.
Okay, I got them in 2003, the last time they were in a Super Bowl. But
no, they played Denver. That was the year that.
They played New England.
Huh? They played New England. I'm sorry. Well, whoever they played.
Oh wow! And we're trying to educate people. Sorry, folks.
What are we asking? Who did Cam Newton play?
No, yeah, was it?
Yeah, it's in the Super Bowl. It was the Patriots.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. I thought it was Denver, but
okay. All right, cool. That was the only thing screwing me up. Okay, so here we go, because I'm going to get off fairly soon, and you guys can keep talking if you want. But I want to talk quick, a couple out of coaching hires. Pete Carroll going to the Raiders. That's pretty good. Aaron Glenn going to the Jets. In my opinion, he said all the right things. Whether he does anything with the dysfunctional Jets.
Did you listen to his press conference today?
I did, and he said all the right things.
Well, did you hear what he said?
Yeah, he said we're the freaking New York Jets.
Well, no, did you hear what he said? He goes, "We're gonna have conversations with Aaron Rodgers.
Yes,
and then we're gonna make personnel decisions accordingly.
Yes,
which means if Aaron Rodgers comes back, Devontae Adams comes back, Alan Lazard comes back. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, those guys is gone."
But that's not because they're retaining Aaron Rodgers. It's because if they keep Aaron Rodgers, which I think they ultimately will, they have to have those pieces in place. They can't we're going to go with a new quarterback, but we're going to keep Devontae Adams. Why the fuck would you? We're going to keep Allen Lazard. Why would you? If you
why wouldn't you keep Devontae Adams if you got a new quarterback? Don't you want to give your quarterback the best opportunity to win?
Well, a new quarterback and Devontae Adams isn't going to be the best. If we bring in a new quarterback,
but you have the opportunity to develop, depending on the quarterback you're getting and where you're getting them. Do you want to develop?
Devontae is not going to be happy unless he's playing somewhere with a chance of a championship or with Aaron Rodgers. Those are the two things. I'm sorry,
Katie. What were you saying? What were you going to say?
Look, the Ringley brothers originated in what state? Not New York, right?
Right.
The Bailey Bros circus didn't originate in New York, right?
No.
So cut damn bait with the damn circus. Cut bait with all of them. Look, we already won 4 games with them. The worst we can do is win 4 games again without them.
Nope.
Cut them. Here's what we need to do. We have something going with our defense. We know our defense can keep us in games. All I need now is a little push of offense. That is it. I got 2 I got 2 good running backs that complement each other. They stay healthy, we are fine. Right? Yep. I'm okay with the young tight ends. I'm okay with what they got. Right? I'm going to bolster my offensive line. That's what I'm going to go do. And I'm going to find me a quarterback that I can get that's going to be serviceable. I will tell you one. There's the one I like. I like the guy with the right coaching. Riley Leonard. I like him with the right coaching. Mm-hmm. He can run it. He can throw it. And then, by the way, if I need him to be safe with the ball, he can do it. Right? I put him with the 2 running backs that I got. Let me go find me some receivers. Let me see who's wanting to stay, who wants to leave. That's the other thing, too. If those guys leave, those guys could be trade bait for you. I got it. It may not be a second round. It may not be a first round. But I can do some damn damage with a second round pick. I can do some damn damage with a third round pick. The wide receiver draft this year is deep. When it comes down to the type of wide receivers, you got big body wide receivers that are legit. You got little itty bitty engines that are good, that can come in and give you what you want. Oh yeah, by the way, you took one last year. I believe y'all got Malachi Corley, right?
Yeah, they got Corley, they got Garrett Wilson.
Again, so I got 2 guys that possibly could still go do damage. Mm-hmm. I got 2 guys that can possibly go do some damage, right?
Okay, so just have a second, Katie. Trade bait. What trade bait do the Jets have?
Devontae Adams?
No. 1-year contract?
No. 2. He's not a free agent.
Okay, so if he's not, so if he's a 1-year deal, we fighting over nothing.
No, Devontae Adams has term on his contract.
If he's a 1-year deal, there's no fight for him. I'm letting him walk. There's no because at the end of the day, right? I'm not going to overpay for something, right? That is going to end up having me win 4 or 5 games. I'm not going to overpay for that. And I don't care. Care. Rodgers.
Okay, David, you're correct because the remainder of his Raiders contract does go to the Jets.
Yep.
Okay, so he's there, right? So now I got to sit here and say to myself, I need to cover as much ground as I can on the Buffalo Bills, and I don't need the Miami Dolphins or the Patriots to come into the second. Yep. Or come in second in the division. I need to eat all that space up right now. And I think you can do it with what you currently have. Again, I'm bolstering up my offensive line. If I can go too deep, I'm trying to get too deep as much as I can. That's how legit I want to be in the draft, right? And get the quarterback, and then I'll live with what my results are. Because, again, you got some other free agent wide receivers that are on 1-year deals that's on Kansas City Chiefs that you can get for the cheap if you do it the right way.
Sure.
If you do it the right way, go ahead.
I was just going to switch gears because I realized that our fans between the Jets and the Bills, they got to be like shooting themselves in the head. David, I'm going to go to you with this one. Pete Carroll going to the Raiders. What are your thoughts?
Are you asking me? If you're asking me, I'll tell you. It's
Your name is David, right?
Okay. Yep. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
I think Pete Carroll going to the Raiders probably saves them from losing Max Crosby in free agency, because of the attitude that Pete Carroll brings to the team. I think Pete Carroll going to the Raiders is good because you're going to have a lot of young players on that team. And the thing that is good about Pete Carroll is Pete Carroll still brings that fiery college coach mentality. He's good with players who are first, second, third, fourth year guys. After they make their money, the rah-rahness kind of wears off on those guys. But he's good at developing young talent. He's good at keeping them fired up. They play for him. I like the fit because, again, you have a team of younger players. You're going to have a team of younger players. You're going to have a rookie quarterback. You're going to have young wide receivers. You're going to have young defense. You're going to have young offensive linemen. You're going to have those young guys. And Pete Carroll instills confidence in those young guys. They come out of college and they still want a college-type coach, and that's what Pete Carroll gives them. So I think it's a good fit in where he's going.
Yeah, I like the hire. I don't think he could be. He can't be any worse. I wasn't an Antonio Pierce fan. I know KD you were. I don't like former players becoming coaches. It rarely works out. But KD, well, what are your thoughts on Pete Carroll going to the Raiders?
It doesn't matter. I need to see the coordinators. Coordinators matter. If you get a guy that can't scheme anything up, I don't like this hire because we just talked about Pete Carroll play calling. We just talked about it.
Yeah, we did. Not purposely.
So
right.
So again, at the end of the day, right?
Shorn in a thong.
Oh shit! Sorry, that's gonna be a little later. Go ahead, Katie. I apologize.
So at the end of the day, coordinator is going to matter for this guy because if you pair him with a coordinator that knows how to put his guys in position, offensive and defensively, it's cool because you can keep that rah-rah type of stuff going on, right? We've seen it with Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn has a young team just like it to do the same thing. But you need the right coordinators. You need the right position coaches. You need somebody that's going to closely relate to them and understand, hey, okay, look, this is how I need you guys to play ball. Because if you get somebody that's not developing them, then guess what? I give it 8 games, 9 games before you start hitting the rumbling.
Well, again, I think the one thing Carroll has that maybe Pierce didn't have is probably the ability to bring in the coaches. I mean, I guess every coach wants to bring in their guys. I mean, you're comfortable with certain guys. You got your guys that you want, But I think with Pete Carroll, I feel bad for Antonio Pierce because I don't think he was given a fair shot to begin with. He came in as an intern, didn't really have anything to work with. They left the cupboard completely barren, and they left him with no quarterback. They left him with no options. I mean, he was almost set up to fail. I mean, in actuality, if you look at that team, I mean, I don't know if Andy Reid could have done anything with that team. I don't care what coaches he had nothing to work with. I mean, when you're going through, when you have Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell as your quarterbacks, I mean, you and your receivers were, I just don't think he had anything. I don't think they had anything in the cupboard.
Nope. This I've said it 10,000 times in the chat. This is where your GM needs to get kicked in the ass.
Sure.
Because listen, if Sean tells me, hey, man, I need a mobile quarterback, I need a damn Mike linebacker that can do X, Y, and Z, it is my job as the damn GM to go get him. It's not my job as a GM to go get people I want.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, my head's not going to be on the chopping block.
Right.
The first person that's going to go is probably going to be a coordinator or a head coach.
Exactly.
So why not, philosophy-wise, sit there and say, hey, look, all right, man, what is it do you need to be functioning? What is it you need to go at Kansas City?
Well, I think that's the problem. I think the problem is they made Antonio Pierce the intern coach. They had Tommy Telesco as the GM, and then you go and you make him your permanent coach, but your GM and your coach were never on the same page to begin with. And so, yeah, I agree 100%. I believe it's on the GM. And that's why I say, I think Antonio Pierce, but I'm using the phrase, but I think he was set up to fail in the fact that anything that he needed, the GM never went out and got. I mean, whatever, he left the bare cupboard. I mean, I don't know their salary cap. But they didn't do anything to bolster anything around him to make him be successful. So I don't know. I mean, it was just a bad situation that continued to get worse.
We're still talking about the Raiders here, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. First of all, I will say Tom Brady has definitely got his hands in what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I keep making this reference, and I don't think anyone gets it. And just think of the guy who owns the Raiders. Okay? This is the guy who owns the Raiders. Look at him. That's fucking him. So you got Tom Brady in there. He's going to say whatever. Anyway, good. Okay, the last one I want to talk about before we get on to our Super Bowl predictions, and then I'm out of here anyway. Brian Schottenheimer. Now, could it be because of Marty Schottenheimer? But this pick by Jerry Jones, it's a pick of convenience.
It's a pick of power. Jerry Jones still has the power.
I mean, you think about it. Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys. Jimmy Jones wins 2, should have won 3, but gotta go. And then of course the Cowboys were good enough to win with what the frick was his name from Oklahoma?
Jason Garrett.
No,
Barry Switzer.
Switzer, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then they've been irrelevant ever since. We're going on 30 years of irrelevancy. Can anyone?
Yeah,
please.
It's easy.
What is the?
It's easy.
Go ahead, David. Make it quick.
It's Jerry Jones wants total control. Period. He wants yes men. He doesn't want a combative coach. He doesn't want somebody who runs the team. He runs the team. He runs every aspect from player personnel to roster decision to whatever. And if you don't bow down to Jerry Jones, you don't have a job. And it's that simple. Look at Brian Schottenheimer's never been a head coach in his life. Okay. And he's been a mediocre offensive coordinator. And why do you think he got the job? Because nobody would go there without any type of power except somebody like Brian Schottenheimer. Jerry Jones is all about power and control. Look at the Dallas Cowboys make billions of dollars a year, whether they're 1-17 or 1-16 or 16-1, whether they win a Super Bowl or they don't even go to the playoffs. So that's what it's all about. Plain and simple.
Okay, great. First of all, thank you, David, for that, because you just reminded me my favorite meme of the day, and I know we've all seen this. Cowboy fans saying, if you weren't with us when we were 7 and 10, don't be with us when we're 6 and 11. That is fucking gold. KD, your thoughts on Brian Schittenheimer?
I'm gonna just leave it quick. I'm not gonna go into the great details, but I can imagine it's gonna be draft night, first night, and he's gonna be like, you know what? We got this nice wide receiver, pass rusher, cornerback, whatever position is. We got this nice cornerback or whatever. We should take him. Probably gonna be a generational talent. Or should we trade back? And all Schottenheimer is going to do is say this. Yeah. And that is going to be it. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do, yes. Whatever you want to do, that's what's going to happen. So it is what it is. I don't know why you made this high, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, real quick, before we get into our Super Bowl predictions, this is the video that Hot Pockets about our bet he sent to me, so you're going to get to watch it in its entirety. You got to do that.
Can't wait to see Sean in a thong. Where we going, y'all? Make sure you show up. Cheer for them birds, baby. Fly, Eagles, fly.
So this is my every time I get a freaking between you guys and the internal for the business chat, which return to the internal chat, so I don't have to read this shit. But apparently sends me these clips of fucking Philadelphia Eagles every fucking like 5-6 times a day. I don't give a fuck. I don't like the goddamn Eagles. That's why I'm going with the Chiefs to get the 3-peat and win the Super Bowl, so I do not have to wear a thong on my profile picture.
No, Mike, you're not stupid, man. We just got to send you a couple more lyrics to fit in there. We got you can't say like one line and just let the beats happen. You gotta throw some rhymes in there on top of that. Katie will send you some. I can't rhyme.
No,
anyway,
I'm not. Hey, look, I'm not sending him shit. DEI ended.
I mean, I couldn't even do.
I'm sorry, my bad.
You know?
Wow.
I couldn't even read Dr. Seuss.
Eagle.
Hey, but that's only in the government.
You are now Chocolate Bear.
DEI is still going strong and surviving in the private sector.
Yeah, I'm just.
Why do you think we have Eric on the show
anymore? And what's sick is I'm like the Democrat of everybody.
I mean, we do have Eric on the show. That is the inclusion part, right?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Do you realize what you just did?
What?
You called him Biden one time. Like, he is still upset about that.
Well, hey.
Oh my god. Anyway, we are not political on this show, and we welcome all factions equally. This is terrible. Well, the funny thing is you have the Dem, which is me, the Republican, which is him, the Libertarian, which is, oh, god damn it, him.
And Eric's a vegan.
Oh. Oh my god.
Hey,
he's an LGBTQ plus XY vegan.
Hey, we probably got 40 messages from E talking about us right now. Really?
Oh my god. See, this is the thing. You guys got to understand, and I'm sorry, and we're going to wrap this up. But the chat, we used to have the chat, but then we broke it to internal chat and business chat, where the only thing you could post to business chat was like show schedules and shit. But the internal chat has now gone to the business chat, and I am asleep at 4:30 in the morning, and Jeff and Eric are instant messaging.
Well,
At
they're
that
on the
time.
East Coast, so they got to understand. It's 6:30 Eastern time. We're still in bed, and we hear ding, 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 ding,
Ding,
ding,
ding, ding, ding, ding. That's my alarm clock, because these idiots are debating whether Justin Fields is the next second coming of Christ. I mean, okay. Anyway, with that being said, Paoli, we know you're going for the Eagles. You're one game behind. The best you can do is tie. I'm going for the Chiefs. You know why? Because the Chiefs, they haven't scored more than 20 points a game. 15-1. 16-1 in the regular season. They win. That's what they do. They know how to win. And Andy Reid is going to have this team prepared, and they are going to win. David, who is your choice for the Super Bowl?
I'm choosing the Eagles. I don't think that Kansas City's defense is not built to stop Saquon, and I do believe that A.J. Brown and I do believe that Dallas Goedert are going to be the differences in this, because if they do key in on Saquon, A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert are going to eat them up inside. It's just, and I don't even want to discount Devontae Smith. But again, he was a little quiet the other day. He had one nice catch, nice along the sideline. But again, I just look at the defense that Philadelphia deploys. I don't care how fast Xavier Worthy or Hollywood Brown is. Those cornerbacks, they can lock down. So Quinion Mitchell, great player. Slay, great player. So I'm taking Philadelphia.
All right. Before we get to KD, I'm just going to throw this out there that when you look at the people who have picked games this year and have been right and wrong, I have been right. David has been wrong.
Okay.
So yeah, I got 11 games on you, like almost a full week.
Cool.
So all right, we're gonna remember this. We are gonna post this again when I'm 198-87, and I have crushed.
That's all right, though, Tom, because what you're doing is you're just settling for the participation award. Because when you and Paoli tie, it doesn't mean
no. Paoli ain't. He ain't tying. He ain't tying. No, you know what? If Nick Foles was playing, he might have a chance. Okay.
Okay, I'll make you a bet. If you tie, not only do you got to wear a thong, you got to wear one on your head.
You're an idiot.
I don't know.
You know what? The scary thing is I'd rather wear a thong on my head live for 2 hours than actually put one on and take a picture of my ass. You know, you can't show both.
I mean, 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
No, I mean much more comfortable with it on my head. Much more comfortable. All right.
Sure.
Speaking of thongs, KD,
No.
you got a half ass for a head.
No. I would never, ever, in my older days, put a fucking thong on my ass cheek.
It would dot that shiny dot in the middle of his head.
You talk about put it on my fucking head? What is wrong with you? You know I got a whole ass wife in here, right?
Okay. We're not going to go into that discussion from the last night.
Right. Hey, look, I got to wear this thong on my head because I lost a bet. What? You're a fucking dumbass.
I would be calling Jennifer and being like, hey, you got to make sure he does it.
No.
You know, the thing is, I might even just get in touch with Jen and say, hey, he made this bet and he's not going to do it to make you do it.
Oh, she already knows. Like, look, I don't get down with stupid shit.
All right. So, KD, for your Super Bowl, who's your choice?
I thought about this long and hard, man, when it come down to who I thought had the advantage and whatnot. And yeah, I like the idea of Saquon Barkley running all over the Kansas City Chiefs defense. But somebody put it in the chat. I think it was Eric, matter of fact. He was saying how Kansas City was the best tackling defense in the league by far, so forth and so on. So with that being said, I'm gonna take the Kansas City. No, fuck that. I'm not taking the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm taking the fucking Eagles. And this is what we're gonna be playing. Yeah, blow the whistle.
Oh,
Yeah, let's go. Fly, Eagles, fly.
oh my God! How can you do that? Anyway, if anyone has a chance, look up. There's a little video of a Washington fan in front of the Eagle Stadium, and he starts doing this little rap, about Parents Just Don't Understand by Will Smith.
Mhm.
And it gets like a line through it, and it cuts to Will Smith, and Will Smith's just like, awesome video. All right, so I am the only one who's picking the Chiefs. We will get Eric and Jeff's picks in here. I'm sorry, Eric and Jeff, I didn't get your picks last week, but it was kind of inconsequential.
So now next week, Sean, next week,
yes,
have all of our preseason predictions ready.
Yeah, I got them on here.
Because it'll be in between the Super Bowl. We can discuss more about the Super Bowl, get in depth a little bit more about the teams. But I want to go back and I want to take a look back at what our predictions were.
I got
all that
them
kind
all.
of good stuff, and just go over it and see who did better from a prediction wise thing.
Okay, well, really, that has to do with you and Eric, because KD was too busy, I don't know, being cool, and Jeff never comes on anymore. I think Jeff did one, but we'll have the predictions up, and I'll just go through like David had this and that. Anyway, so I'm going to get off here. If you guys want to keep chatting, you can.
No, we're good.
Okay, so we will see you all next week.
Next Wednesday, yep. I'm off. It is going to be Wednesday.
Yep, and it's going to be a kind of a fairly quick show, probably, because there's not a lot to talk about.
Always a lot to talk about.
No, you just talk a lot, David. Big difference.
Oh.
All right. So anyway, thank you guys for being here, and we will see you next Wednesday from the couch.
Y'all be good.